In a big city, tall buildings touched the sky, and the streets were always busy. In one of the tallest buildings, a billionaire CEO named Mr. Harrison lived. He was very rich and very strict. People in the city admired him, but they were also a little afraid of him. He was always serious, and he never smiled unless something truly amazed him. His office was full of shiny machines, computers, and screens that blinked constantly. Even the walls seemed to shine in his powerful presence. Across the city, in a small, quiet house, lived a young girl named Mia. She was the daughter of the housemaid who worked for Mr. Harrison. Mia's life was simple. She did not have expensive toys or fancy gadgets, but she had something special, a curious mind. She loved puzzles, machines, and solving problems. In her small room, old radios, clocks, and broken toys were stacked in neat piles. Mia spent hours opening them, studying their parts and figuring out how they worked. She had a small notebook where she drew diagrams and wrote ideas, imagining how she could fix anything. One bright morning, the city buzzed with unusual excitement. Mr. Harrison had made a shocking announcement. In his grand office, he had placed a strange machine on a polished table. Its wires were tangled, lights blinked randomly, and small gears moved awkwardly. Engineers and technicians had tried for weeks to fix it, but every time they touched it, it made a loud noise and stopped working. Mr. Harrison's voice echoed through the office. "Whoever can fix this machine will get $100 million, he said sharply. The office fell silent. The promise of $100 million made grown adults greedy and anxious. Many tried immediately, but they failed. Some frowned and shook their heads. Others muttered, "This is impossible." Yet, the machine sat there waiting silently, as if it knew only the cleverest mind could understand it. Mia heard about the challenge from her mother. She was sweeping the floor when her mother said, "Mia, did you hear? The billionaire's machine cannot be fixed, but he is giving a huge reward to anyone who can do it." Mia's eyes lit up with curiosity. "Maybe I can try," she said softly. Her mother paused, worried. "It is not easy, Mia. People with experience have failed. Billionaires are not always kind when things go wrong." Mia smiled gently. She loved a challenge more than anything. She knew her small hands and sharp mind could do what others could not. That evening, she prepared her little toolbox with screwdrivers, small pliers, and a flashlight. She studied old diagrams in her notebook and thought about the machine she had never seen but imagined in her mind. The next morning, Mia quietly made her way to Mr. Harrison's mansion. The gates were huge and the guards looked serious, but Mia had permission from her mother who worked there. With a small nod, the guards allowed her to pass. She walked into the massive room where the machine sat. Its blinking lights and spinning gears made it look alive, almost breathing. Mia carefully observed the machine. She noticed patterns in the blinking lights, how some wires twisted around others, and how the gears turned in a specific order. She did not rush. Instead, she wrote down small notes in her notebook, connecting one piece of information to another. Every engineer had tried to force the machine to work, but Mia thought differently. She believed that understanding and patience could solve any problem. Hours passed. Mia tested small changes gently, watching closely how the machine reacted. Sometimes it made a funny noise or stopped for a moment, but Mia never panicked. She tried again, learning from each tiny mistake. She whispered to herself, "If I just adjust this part carefully, it should work." Finally, she turned a small knob, pressed a button, and the machine's lights blinked in a smooth rhythm. The gears moved perfectly and a soft hum filled the room. Everyone in the office gasped. Mr. Harrison froze. He had never seen anyone fix his machine so quickly. His sharp eyes widened with surprise and disbelief. Mia smiled quietly. She had not expected the money or attention. She just loved solving the puzzle. But she noticed the people around her staring with admiration, and she felt proud of herself. Mr. Harrison took a slow step forward. "Who fixed this?" he asked, his voice a mix of shock and curiosity. The room was silent, waiting for the answer. Mia lifted her head and said politely, "I did, sir." The billionaire blinked several times. He had expected engineers, not a young girl. He could not hide his astonishment. Something inside him stirred. This girl was not just clever. She saw the world in a way he had never seen. And in that moment, Mia realized that her life was about to change forever. Mr. Harrison stood still, staring at Mia. He could hardly believe what he had just seen. Engineers who had worked for him for years had tried and failed, but a young girl had fixed the impossible machine in minutes. His sharp eyes studied her closely. There was something in her calm, confident expression that he could not ignore. Mia's small hands were still resting on the table. She smiled politely. "I just looked carefully at how it worked, sir. I thought if I changed a few things, it would start working." The room fell silent. People who had been watching whispered among themselves. Nobody had ever seen Mr. Harrison speechless. Even the security guards, who had seen many unusual things, exchanged surprised glances. Finally, Mr. Harrison cleared his throat. "You would have done what no one else could. You have earned the reward I promised." His voice was deep, but it held a strange warmth. Mia blinked. She had not expected this. She had only wanted to try the puzzle, not the money. "But sir," she said softly, "I only love fixing things. I never thought about money." Mr. Harrison walked closer, inspecting the machine. He touched the buttons and gears gently, then looked at Mia again. "Most people force machines to work. They try to push and rush, but you observed carefully. You waited. You thought before acting. That is rare." Mia felt a small thrill inside her chest. She loved puzzles and machines, and now someone important had noticed her way of thinking. Her mother had always told her that patience and attention mattered more than strength. Now she saw it was true. The billionaire's assistant spoke up. "Sir, should we transfer the money immediately?" Mr. Harrison shook his head slowly. "Not yet. I want to understand how she thinks first." He turned to Mia. "Would you like to come to my office? I want to see how your mind works. Perhaps you can help me with other machines as well." Mia's eyes widened with excitement. She had dreamed of seeing more machines, but never in such a big mansion. "Yes, sir. I would love to," she said politely. They walked through the mansion together. The walls were lined with screens and shining devices. Machines of all sizes hummed quietly, waiting to be understood. Mr. Harrison led her to a special room where an even larger machine sat, covered with panels and blinking lights. "This is more complex than the first," Mr. Harrison said. "Most engineers avoid it because it seems impossible. But I believe you might understand it." Mia studied the machine carefully. Her eyes moved along the wires, the blinking lights, and the gears. She noted every small detail in her mind. "I will try, sir," she said. Hours passed. Mia carefully examined each part of the machine. She tested small changes, learning from each movement. The machine made strange noises and lights flashed, but Mia stayed calm. Every time something went wrong, she paused, thought, and tried again. She never rushed and she never gave up. Mr. Harrison watched her silently. He had worked with the best engineers, but none had the patience and careful thinking Mia had. He realized her talent was not just in fixing machines. It was her way of looking at problems, noticing details others missed and never panicking. Finally, Mia found the issue, a tiny wire that had been overlooked. She fixed it carefully and pressed the button. The machine came alive. Its arms moved smoothly. Lights blinked in rhythm and the gears spun perfectly. A soft hum filled the room. Everyone gasped. Mr. Harrison froze again, unable to hide his astonishment. "You did it again?" he whispered. Mia smiled softly. "It only needed careful attention, sir. I just watched and understood what was happening." The billionaire nodded slowly. "I have seen many brilliant minds, but your thinking is different. You see clearly and you act wisely. That is rare." Mia felt proud, but she also felt calm. She loved puzzles and challenges, and this was only the beginning. She realized that if she worked with Mr. Harrison, she could learn much more and help even bigger problems. Mr. Harrison turned to his assistant. "Prepare everything. This girl will be part of our team. She has a talent that cannot be ignored." And so Mia's journey into a world of machines, puzzles, and endless challenges began. She had started with one machine, but she could already feel that her life was about to change in ways she had never imagined. The next morning, Mia returned to Mr. Harrison's mansion. Her small backpack carried only her notebook, pencils, and a few tools she always liked to have. She felt excited but calm. She loved solving puzzles, and today she knew there would be more challenges waiting for her. Mr. Harrison was already in his office, reviewing charts and diagrams on huge screens. When he saw Mia, his face softened slightly. "Good morning, Mia," he said. "Are you ready for another challenge?" Mia nodded politely. "Yes, sir. I am ready." He led her to a new machine in a separate room. This one was larger than the last. It had blinking panels, twisting arms, and wires that seemed to stretch in every direction. The machine's purpose was unclear, even to the engineers who had tried to fix it. It made strange noises and sometimes shook slightly, as if it was alive. Most people avoid this machine because they cannot understand it, Mr. Harrison said. But I believe you might see what others cannot. Mia studied the machine carefully. She did not rush. She walked around it slowly, observing how the lights blinked and how the gears moved. She touched nothing at first. Instead, she opened her notebook and drew diagrams of the machine based on what she saw. She noticed small details others had ignored: a wire that moved differently, a gear that turned slower than the rest, and lights that blinked in a certain sequence. Hours passed. Mia worked quietly. Engineers had tried for days, but she had learned to think differently. She tested small changes, watched what happened, and wrote her observations in the notebook. When something went wrong, she paused and thought carefully before trying again. Her patience was unmatched, and she never let frustration enter her mind. Meanwhile, Mr. Harrison watched silently. He had seen the best engineers in the world fail, but Mia never panicked. Her calm and careful approach impressed him more than he could say. He realized she had a unique talent, not only to fix machines but to understand them deeply, almost like she could talk to them. Finally, Mia found the problem. A small hidden wire had been bent slightly, preventing the machine from working correctly. She adjusted it carefully and pressed a button. The machine came alive immediately. Its arms moved smoothly. The lights blinked rhythmically, and a soft hum filled the room. Everyone in the room gasped. Mr. Harrison could not hide his surprise. "Incredible," he whispered. "You have done it again." Mia smiled softly. "It only needed careful observation, sir. I just watched and understood the problem." Mr. Harrison nodded slowly. He felt something he had rarely felt: respect mixed with amazement. "You are not like the others. Most people try to force solutions. You see, you think, and then you act. That is rare." The assistant who had been watching spoke hesitantly. "Sir, do you want to reward her now?" Mr. Harrison shook his head. "This is more than a reward. She needs guidance and opportunities. We will give her both." He turned to Mia. "If you want, you can stay and learn with us. We have many machines and projects that need your kind of thinking." Mia's heart beat faster. She had never imagined being part of something so big. "I would love that, sir," she said politely. And so, Mia began a new chapter in her life. She would spend her days in the mansion, learning about machines she had never seen before. But even as she worked with Mr. Harrison, she remained humble. She remembered her small house, her mother, and the joy of discovering solutions on her own. That evening, Mia returned home. She sat with her mother and shared everything she had seen. Her mother listened quietly, proud of her daughter's courage and talent. "You are very special, Mia," she said softly. "But remember, always use your gifts wisely and kindly." Mia nodded. She understood. Her life had changed, but she wanted to remain the same curious girl who loved puzzles. She wanted to help people learn more and never stop exploring. Little did Mia know bigger challenges awaited her. Machines that had confused experts for months, mysterious problems no one could solve, and tasks that seemed impossible. All of them would soon come her way. But Mia was ready. She had patience, intelligence, and a love for solving puzzles. She knew she could face anything step by step with care and thought. And somewhere deep in his office, Mr. Harrison watched her quietly. He had never met anyone like Mia before, and he knew that her mind could change not only his company but the entire city. The next morning, Mia returned to Mr. Harrison's mansion. She was nervous but also excited. She had solved the first two machines, but she knew there were bigger challenges ahead. Mr. Harrison greeted her with a small smile, something she had never seen before. "Good morning, Mia. Are you ready for today's challenge?" he asked. Mia nodded politely. "Yes, sir. I am ready." He led her to a new room at the top of the mansion. This room was enormous. Its walls were lined with glowing screens, blinking panels, and machines of all shapes and sizes. In the center stood a large machine, taller than Mia herself, with arms that twisted slowly and lights that flashed in complicated patterns. It looked almost alive. "This is different from the other machines," Mr. Harrison said. "It is more complex. Engineers have tried to fix it for months, but no one has succeeded. I want to see if your mind can understand it." Mia studied the machine carefully. She walked slowly around it, observing every wire, gear, and blinking light. She noticed patterns that others had missed. Some wires seemed connected in strange ways, and certain lights blinked faster when a part moved incorrectly. Mia wrote notes in her notebook, drawing diagrams and marking observations. Hours passed and Mia worked quietly. She tested small adjustments, watched the reactions, and wrote down her thoughts. Every time something went wrong, she paused, thought carefully, and tried a different approach. Unlike the engineers, she did not rush or get frustrated. Her patience and careful thinking guided her actions. Mr. Harrison watched silently from a distance. He had seen many talented engineers, but Mia's method was different. She did not just try to fix the machine. She tried to understand it. Her calm and focused mind impressed him more than anything. Finally, Mia found the problem. A small hidden gear had been bent slightly, causing the entire machine to act incorrectly. She adjusted it carefully and pressed a button. Immediately, the machine came alive. Its arms moved smoothly. Lights blinked in perfect rhythm, and a soft hum filled the room. Everyone in the room gasped. Mr. Harrison could not hide his astonishment. "You have done it again," he whispered. His voice was filled with admiration and surprise. Mia smiled softly. "It only needed careful observation, sir. I just studied how it worked and fixed the problem." Mr. Harrison nodded slowly. "Most people try to force solutions. You do not. You watch, think, and act. That is rare, and it is very valuable." The assistant, who had been watching silently, spoke hesitantly. "Sir, should we prepare her reward now?" Mr. Harrison shook his head. "This is more than a reward. She has talent that can help us do greater things. Mia, would you like to stay and learn with us? We have many machines and projects that need your kind of thinking." Mia's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Yes, sir. I would love to," she said politely. And so Mia's journey continued. She began spending her days at the mansion, learning about machines she had never seen before. She worked closely with Mr. Harrison, who taught her new techniques, ideas, and ways to solve problems. She learned quickly, but she never forgot her roots. She still cared for her mother, her home, and the joy of discovering solutions on her own. That evening, Mia returned home and shared her experiences with her mother. Her mother listened quietly, proud of her daughter's talent and determination. "You are special, Mia," she said softly. "But always remember to stay kind and humble. That is what makes true talent shine." Mia nodded. She understood. Her life was changing, but she wanted to remain the same curious girl who loved puzzles and solving problems. She wanted to use her skills to help others, not just to gain fame or wealth. Little did Mia know her greatest challenges were yet to come. Machines that confused even the best engineers, problems that seemed impossible, and situations that tested patience and courage. All of them were waiting for her. But Mia felt ready. She had her careful mind, her love for puzzles, and the courage to try again and again. And as she closed her notebook that night, she thought about the future. She was not just a girl who could fix machines. She was someone who could think differently, solve mysteries, and inspire others to do the same. Somewhere high in his office, Mr. Harrison watched silently. He knew Mia's mind was special, and he realized that her talents could change not only his company but the entire world. A few days later, news spread across the city about a big problem. The traffic control system had broken down, causing confusion on the streets. Traffic lights stopped working, barriers did not move, and vehicles were stuck everywhere. People were frustrated and worried. Even the city engineers had tried for days, but the system refused to respond correctly. Mr. Harrison heard about this problem immediately. He called Mia into his office. "Mia," he said, "this is a challenge unlike any other. The whole city depends on these machines, and nobody has been able to fix them. I want you to go and help. Can you do it?" Mia's eyes sparkled with determination. "I will try, sir," she said softly. The next morning, Mia went to the city's traffic control center. The room was filled with blinking panels, screens showing different intersections, and wires stretching across the walls. Engineers were pacing nervously, trying to understand what had gone wrong. Mia walked slowly through the room, observing everything carefully. She noticed patterns that others had missed. Some wires blinked in a rhythm. Some panels reacted differently depending on the sequence of buttons pressed, and some lights were connected to hidden circuits. Mia wrote notes in her small notebook and started testing small adjustments. Hours passed. The engineers grew tired and frustrated, but Mia remained calm. She tested one small change at a time and watched how the machines responded. Sometimes a light would blink faster, sometimes a panel would move slightly, but Mia never panicked. She paused, thought carefully, and tried again. Her patience guided her every move. Finally, Mia discovered the problem. A hidden sequence in the wiring had been disturbed, causing the entire system to act unpredictably. She carefully adjusted the wires and pressed a button. Instantly, the machines began working correctly. Traffic lights turned green and red in proper order. Barriers moved smoothly and screens showed the streets flowing normally. The engineers gasped in surprise. "How did you do that?" one of them asked. Mia smiled politely. "I just watched carefully and followed the patterns. The machines only needed attention and patience." Outside, drivers cheered as traffic started moving again. People clapped and waved at the engineers and Mia, but Mia stayed calm. She was happy to see the city functioning smoothly, but she did not seek attention or praise. Back at the control center, Mr. Harrison watched the live screens from his office. He could not hide his amazement. "This girl," he whispered to himself, "she sees the world differently. She can solve problems no one else can." The engineers began asking Mia questions about her approach. She explained step by step how she had observed the patterns and tested small adjustments carefully. They listened closely, impressed by her clear thinking and method. After everything was fixed, Mr. Harrison spoke to Mia. "You have done something extraordinary. You helped the entire city today. I am proud of you. But more importantly, you have shown how careful thinking and patience can solve even the most difficult problems." Mia smiled softly. "I am happy to help, sir. That is all I wanted." That evening, Mia returned home. Her mother welcomed her with a warm smile. "You did something amazing today, Mia. You helped so many people." Mia nodded. "Yes, but I only watched carefully and tried to understand the problem. The machines told me what to do if I listened." Her mother hugged her tightly. "You are truly special, Mia. Remember, always use your gifts to help others." "That is what makes a difference," Mia agreed. She realized that her skills were not only about fixing machines but also about helping people and making their lives better. She felt proud, but she stayed humble. That night, as Mia looked at the stars from her small window, she thought about the future. Bigger challenges would come, but she knew she could face them. Patience, careful observation, and thinking step by step would guide her, just as they had today. Somewhere high above, in his mansion, Mr. Harrison watched the city from his office. He knew Mia's mind was extraordinary. She had not only solved machines, but had shown the true power of intelligence, patience, and kindness. He smiled softly, knowing that Mia's journey had only just begun. After Mia helped fix the city's traffic system, her life began to change in small but exciting ways. People started noticing her talent, and Mr. Harrison wanted her to learn even more. Every morning, Mia arrived at the mansion early, carrying her notebook and tools ready to face new challenges. Mr. Harrison welcomed her with a smile. "Mia, today we have a special project. It is unlike anything you have worked on before. I want you to observe carefully and see what you can do." Mia's eyes sparkled with excitement. She loved learning, and every new machine or challenge made her curious. She followed Mr. Harrison to a large laboratory at the back of the mansion. The lab was filled with inventions, machines, and gadgets of all sizes. Some machines hummed, some blinked, and some moved slowly as if waiting for someone to understand them. "This project will test your skills and creativity," Mr. Harrison said. "It is not only about fixing things, but also about designing solutions." Mia studied the room quietly. She noticed small patterns, how machines were connected, and how each part affected another. She opened her notebook and began drawing diagrams. She tested small ideas carefully, learning from every reaction. Hours passed, but Mia did not grow tired. Her curiosity and patience kept her focused. Mr. Harrison observed her silently. He had seen many engineers, but none had the patience, focus, and creativity that Mia had. She did not just solve problems, she understood them deeply. During the day, Mia fixed a small conveyor system, adjusted a mechanical arm, and even helped redesign a machine that delivered small items across the room. Each time she completed a task, Mr. Harrison smiled quietly. He was impressed, not only by her skill but by the way she thought. Later, Mr. Harrison took Mia to another room. It was filled with computers and advanced technology that connected to machines all over the mansion. "This is a system we use for testing new inventions," he explained. "I want you to observe how it works and see if you can improve it." Mia studied the system carefully. She noticed that some circuits were slower than others and some commands were repeating unnecessarily. She made small adjustments and tested her ideas step by step. Soon the system began working faster and more smoothly than ever before. Mr. Harrison's face showed quiet pride. "You see, Mia," he said, "the world is full of problems, but with patience, observation, and careful thinking, solutions are always possible. You are learning quickly, and I am very impressed." Mia felt happy but calm. She loved learning and solving problems, but she remained humble. She remembered her small house, her mother, and the joy of discovering solutions on her own. She wanted to continue helping people and improving machines, not for fame or wealth, but for learning and understanding. That evening, Mia returned home. Her mother hugged her tightly. "You are amazing, Mia. But remember, true talent is not only about skill. It is about using it to help others." Mia nodded. "I understand, Mother. I want to learn more and help people. That is what makes me happy." Days passed and Mia continued working with Mr. Harrison. She learned about complex machines, discovered new ways to solve problems, and even taught engineers some of her ideas. People around her began to respect her not only for her talent but for her kindness and humility. Mia realized that her journey was about more than fixing machines. It was about understanding the world, learning new things, and helping people solve problems. Each challenge she faced made her stronger, smarter, and more confident. And somewhere in his office, Mr. Harrison watched her quietly. He knew that Mia was extraordinary. She was not only a brilliant mind but a kind heart. He smiled softly, realizing that with her help they could accomplish amazing things together. Mia's life had changed, but she remained the same curious girl who loved puzzles. She knew that bigger challenges were coming, and she was ready. With patience, careful thinking, and kindness, she could face anything. One sunny morning, the city faced a new challenge. A large machine controlling the water supply had broken down. Water pumps stopped working, and some neighborhoods had no water at all. People were worried, and engineers were confused. They had tried for days, but nothing worked. When Mr. Harrison heard the news, he immediately called Mia. "Mia, the city needs your help," he said. "This machine is very complex, and many people have failed. I believe you can fix it." Mia felt a mixture of excitement and determination. "I will do my best, sir," she said politely. She quickly made her way to the water supply center. The building was large, filled with enormous machines, pipes, and blinking panels. Engineers were standing around, looking frustrated and tired. Mia walked slowly, observing every detail carefully. She noticed patterns in the blinking lights, how the gears moved, and how the pipes reacted when certain buttons were pressed. Unlike the engineers, she did not rush. She wrote notes in her small notebook, drew diagrams, and tested small ideas step by step. Hours passed. Mia adjusted a small valve here, tested a switch there, and watched how the system reacted. Each time something did not work, she paused and thought carefully before trying again. Her calm and careful approach was different from the rushed attempts of others. Finally, Mia discovered the problem. A hidden sensor had been blocked, causing the pumps to stop working. She fixed it carefully, adjusted the controls, and pressed a button. Immediately, water began flowing through the pipes again. Neighborhoods received water, and the blinking panels on the machines returned to normal. The engineers gasped in surprise. "How did you do that?" one of them asked. Mia smiled softly. "I just watched carefully and tested small changes. The machine only needed attention and patience." Outside, people cheered as water returned to their homes. Families clapped and smiled. Mia quietly observed, feeling happy that she had helped so many people. She did not want applause. She only wanted the machines to work and the people to be happy. Back at the mansion, Mr. Harrison watched the news. He smiled quietly, impressed not only by Mia's intelligence but by her kindness and humility. "She is extraordinary," he whispered. "She does not just solve problems, she helps people too." Later that day, Mia returned to the mansion. Mr. Harrison led her to his office. "Mia, you have shown something very important today," he said. "A true genius is not only clever but also patient and thoughtful. You have both qualities, and that makes you special." Mia nodded. "Thank you, sir. I am happy I could help." He smiled. "This is only the beginning. Bigger challenges are coming, and I want you to be ready. I believe your mind can solve anything if you stay calm and think carefully." Mia felt proud but calm. She had faced another challenge, and it had taught her more about patience, observation, and careful thinking. She knew that every problem had a solution if she stayed focused and did not rush. That evening, Mia returned home. Her mother was waiting, excited to hear about her day. "Mia, you helped the whole city. I am so proud of you." Mia smiled. "It was not just me, Mother. I just watched carefully and followed what I learned. The machines told me what to do if I listened." Her mother hugged her tightly. "You are special, Mia. Remember, always use your gift to help others. That is what makes you truly extraordinary." Mia nodded. She understood. She wanted to continue helping people, learning new things and solving problems. She realized that her skills were not only about fixing machines, they were about understanding the world and making it better. As night fell, Mia looked at the stars from her window. She thought about the future. There would be bigger challenges, harder puzzles, and more machines to understand. But she was ready. With patience, careful observation, and a kind heart, she could face anything. And somewhere high in his office, Mr. Harrison watched her quietly. He knew Mia's journey had only begun. She was not just a brilliant mind. She was a bright light for the city, a problem solver who would inspire everyone she met. Mia's life had changed in many ways since she had first fixed Mr. Harrison's machine. She spent her days learning, solving problems, and helping people, but she never forgot her small home, her mother, and the joy of discovering solutions with patience and care. One morning, Mr. Harrison called her to his office. "Mia," he said, "I have a very important project. It is bigger than anything you have done before. The city's energy grid is not functioning properly, and people are facing difficulties. I believe you can help." Mia felt a mix of excitement and determination. "I will try my best, sir," she said politely. They arrived at a large control center filled with blinking panels, screens, and machines. Engineers were already there, looking worried. Mia observed everything carefully. She noticed patterns, connections, and details that others had missed. She opened her notebook and began drawing diagrams, making notes, and planning her approach. Hours passed. Mia worked quietly and carefully. She adjusted small wires, pressed buttons in sequence, and tested each change step by step. The engineers watched in awe as she remained calm and focused. Unlike them, she did not panic when something went wrong. She paused, thought carefully, and tried again. Finally, Mia found the problem. A hidden section of the grid had been blocked, causing power failures across the city. She fixed the section carefully and pressed a button. Instantly, the screen stabilized. The machines hummed in rhythm and lights returned to homes and streets. Everyone in the control center gasped. Engineers who had been worried for days now smiled with relief. "How did you do that?" one of them asked. Mia smiled softly. "I just watched carefully and followed the patterns. The machines told me what to do if I listened." Outside, the city lights shone brightly again. People cheered as electricity returned to their homes. Families were happy, and the streets were safe. Mia quietly observed, feeling proud that she had helped so many people. She did not need applause. The satisfaction of solving the problem was enough. Back at the mansion, Mr. Harrison watched the news on his large screen. He could not hide his admiration. "She is remarkable," he whispered to himself. "Her mind is brilliant and her heart is kind. She is a true problem solver." Later that evening, Mia returned home. Her mother hugged her tightly. "You did so much today, Mia. You helped the whole city." Mia smiled. "I just watched carefully and followed what I learned. The machines and systems showed me the way. Her mother nodded. You are special, Mia. Always remember, true talent is not only about skill, but also about helping others and being patient. That is what makes you extraordinary. Mia agreed. She knew her journey had taught her many things. She had learned to observe carefully, think clearly, and never give up. But she had also learned kindness, humility, and the joy of helping others. Days turned into weeks, and Mia continued solving problems, learning new things, and inspiring everyone around her. She became known as the girl with a brilliant mind and a kind heart. People admired her not only for her intelligence, but for her patience, humility, and willingness to help. Mr. Harrison continued to mentor her. Together they built machines to improve the city, make life easier for people, and solve problems that others thought impossible. Mia's ideas and careful thinking helped the city in ways no one had imagined. One quiet evening, Mia looked out of her window at the city lights. She thought about how far she had come, from a small house with broken toys to helping the entire city. She realized that solving problems was not only about intelligence, but about patience, observation, and kindness. And somewhere high in his mansion, Mr. Harrison watched quietly. He knew Mia's journey had only just begun. She had not only fixed machines and solved problems, but had also inspired everyone who met her. He smiled, knowing that the girl who had once fixed one small machine was now a light of hope, intelligence, and kindness for the entire city. Mia closed her notebook, feeling happy and calm. She knew bigger challenges would come, but she was ready. With her patience, careful observation, and kind heart, she could face anything. And so, Mia's story ended for now. But her journey of learning, solving, and helping others continued. She had shown that a young mind, when guided by curiosity, patience, and kindness, could achieve wonders and make the world a better place.